We are back, and this is another episode 76 of the We Are One, You Are Two PlayStation podcast, where we talk sometimes with indie developers, sometimes we talk PlayStation, mostly we talk PlayStation, sometimes we talk other video games as well. I am your host, as always, Rob Fanzo, joined once again by my co-host for 75 of those episodes, Ooh, Matt Rhodes.
Wow, that's a lot. Hey-o!
Yeah, this is our 75th anniversary.
Wait, what?
This is our 75th anniversary. We've done 75 episodes together. We're on 76.
Oh, okay.
But we've done 75 together.
No, I don't know. I feel like I missed two.
Oh, you did? Yeah, you did. Oh,
because I missed one of the interviews.
You did. You missed an interview, and I did 1 week with Shane as well, so that is correct.
Yeah.
Oh, we haven't... Oh, well, I guess you got 2 more weeks to get me a gift, then.
Yeah, I do. See, I have time. I didn't forget, okay?
I know. My gift to you is me.
Oh, that's so kind.
I know.
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
Usually.
Yeah.
Depends. Depends. I'm kind of boring, so I'm not really that giving. Yeah. I do want to remind people, if you like what you hear, you can go rate us first and foremost on Apple Podcasts, and go listen to us on Google Play, Stitcher, Patreon, Podbean, YouTube, every week, Tuesday by noon. Patreons get it Monday by typically 9 a.m. or 12 p.m. Eastern Time. I was a little late this week. I apologize about that. Last week, I should say. But we recorded late, too. So we recorded on, I think, a Sunday night, didn't we?
Maybe.
And so it was a little hard to get out Monday morning. All right. Anyway, we got a great show lined up for listeners this week, Matt. We are going to talk a little bit about just some things you may have missed in the news this week. I just want to highlight just a couple of things because, again, it's kind of a slow time of the year for news, so we're kind of skipping over that. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the all-free EA Access games that are available on PS4 and whether or not EA Access is a worthy purchase. We're going to talk about Summer Sale and the 4 weeks of deals at the PlayStation Store and what you might be missing or what you might be looking into or interested in. There will be no drop this week because we're recording early, and so we're going to skip that. And then if we have time for anything else, we will do so, but we'll wait and see. We may have something special. We'll see.
Ooh.
All right. Also, as this is going on, and it might be the last day for it, if you check back, I believe I ran it for 1 week. I have a poll to guess my backlog starting yesterday, so by the time this podcast is out, that should have a day left. Go over and vote and leave a comment if you've listened to this, and if I choose you, I'll buy a game for you off of my backlog.
Oh, snap.
Alrighty. So anyway, that all being said and done, let's go ahead and get into what we've been playing so that we can kind of talk about that as we do.
All right. Well, I'll get us started with Rocket League Fortnite. It's been an abbreviated week. I stunned the crowd last week with a bunch of games, and I fell back into my ways this weekend.
You fell down into the dark side again.
Yeah.
That's okay.
But they got like overtime challenges for Fortnite, and they just released their birthday challenges today. So there's a lot of challenges to do that I got to get done. You know what I mean? Plus, you were kind enough to help me out with a challenge or two. So
I did, and I'm ashamed to admit that I even had to re-download Fortnite for that.
Yep.
But I guess that's the bonus side of that is I actually had to re-download it because I deleted it. And I'll be honest, once those challenges are over, I'll probably delete it again.
Yeah, that's fine. But just keep them up until the challenges go away, which is another week. So just leave it there for a week.
All right. I'm ashamed to even admit that I have it.
What have you been playing? Hey, you're the one that got me started on the game, okay? You're the one that handed me the crack pipe, okay?
I know.
Now you're like, oh, I quit crack a long time ago. I can't take a puff again.
Yeah, I don't know why.
You're too hoity-toity. You've moved on to better drugs, I guess.
I have. I've moved on to a lot of better drugs. To be honest, I was never quite to the level you are. I enjoyed playing a couple matches here and there. I think I could never sit there and do it hours at a time, though. And then my time became way too precious, and there's too many single-player games that I have yet to get to, because I want to get to Apex Legends Season 2, and I haven't even touched that yet.
Yeah, fair enough.
So,
all right, what have you been playing, Rob?
I've been playing a lot of pretty much I feel like my list is the same as it was last week, because I talked about Vampire last week. I talked about Yakuza 0 last week.
Yeah.
So I've been playing both of those pretty methodically. I actually believe I'm about halfway through Vampire already.
Wow.
Because I think Chapter 6 is like the last chapter you can do before there's no more free roam, because you're kind of channeled towards the end game there.
Okay.
And I know for a fact I'm in Chapter 3 of the game. And I'm almost done with Chapter 3. So I'm probably... Honestly, it's a game you could probably finish in about 16 hours if you just plow through.
Wow.
And so... I've been playing, 2-3 hour chunks and taking my time. So... I could easily see me being done with that by next week.
Cool.
It's a game that I actually am so sorry I sat on for so long, because it is probably shaping up to be one of my top 10 games this year.
Wow.
I would say top 5, but I don't want to exclude some of the company that I mentioned before. Same thing with Yakuza 0. I can't wait to get to finish that and get to Judgment. I didn't realize the Yakuza games were so good.
Yeah.
And so I've been playing those two, and then I backed on Kickstarter a game called 1980X.
Okay.
It's $9.99 on the PlayStation Store, but I backed it was on Kickstarter. And I think it's going to be a 2-part game. I think he released part 1, and then there's at least maybe a part 2, possibly a part 3 coming up. And I'm actually going to have a video review of that that I'm working on up next week. Or by the time this podcast goes up, I hope to have that up. It just came out this past week that we're recording. If you like 80s games, if you like nostalgia, I would say go for it.
I mean, who doesn't?
Well, I mean, yeah, but it's very specific, because one's like a dungeon. It actually, basically, I don't want to talk too much about it, but the narrator finds an arcade in the very beginning of the game, and that's kind of his escape from the real world.
Nice, okay.
And so every time he goes there, you play a different style game. And so you might play like a side-scrolling shooter, and then the next one you play an endless runner, and then you play a racing game, like the old-school racing games, like the SNES. And the graphics look very much like an SNES game.
Cool.
But it's all based on 80s games, and there's 5 or 6 different games you play through, and each one's a different style. And they're all like metaphorically or symbolically representative of his life.
It's pretty awesome.
Some aspect of his life. Yeah, it's an interesting... Hybit Studios put it out. It's an interesting little game. I'll say more about it in my review.
Yeah.
So I finished that. I actually finished that, and I don't think I'm going to get the platinum in it, because some of those... I'm not good enough at those kinds of games to get that platinum. And then I just downloaded Onanaki Demo, and that's one that I'll talk about maybe another time once I've actually got to play it. I just finished downloading earlier, so... I'll check that one out and report back on that one. So that's pretty much it. Kind of like you said, an abbreviated week, because we recorded on Sunday, now we're recording again on a Thursday.
Yeah.
And so Yakuza and kind of like Yakuza and Vampire, I hate to be a broken record, are the two I've been playing. So
cool.
All right. Well, let's just move on then. And get into a little bit of what used to be PSN-news, but I'm just going to call it in case you missed it, because I'm not going to cover a whole bunch of news, but I do think these are a few important things that if you are a PlayStation gamer, you should know. Matt, the first one is that Sony is finally sending out codes, this is via Push Square, for the PlayStation 4 firmware update, 7.0 beta. And when they get to like a full number, right, it's usually a big deal, like 6.0, 5.0, 4.0. So this one's a big deal because it will introduce 16-player parties, along with better quality voice chat.
Wow. It's pretty crazy.
Now, that's not all it's going to do, though. According to the beta code email, the way your PS4 handles future updates is changing. Performance for system updates is also being improved, meaning your PS4 won't always need to restart after every update.
Interesting.
So going forward, select system software update will automatically be installed after download if the system software update file setting is switched on.
Okay.
That's kind of nice.
Yeah, that's kind of nice.
If you get one of those codes, also this is in the doc, but if you get one of those codes, it comes with 20 additional codes.
Wow.
So that you and your 16 friends can try out party chat.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And so, if you have one of those and you want me to join your party chat, let me know.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know. I could talk. I don't think I've ever talked to 16 people once in my life, let alone while I'm gaming.
Yeah.
Here's the other thing I thought about this. There's not that many games where you'd have all 16 of you playing the same thing at once. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
well,
Fortnite, how many can you squad up? 5, 6 at a time?
you can do 16 now.
Oh, can you do 16
Yeah,
now?
that's a recent addition to Fortnite. You can do 16.
How funny is that?
Yeah.
Sony.
Yeah, I think Sony's just following suit to a certain extent. But, I mean, I don't know. You can't, you still can't. I don't know exactly how it works, obviously, because I haven't been in a party that big, but I would assume you all can play squads, but you're all separated into 4 different squads, and then eventually you have to, kill each other.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Or if it puts you in different games. I don't know, because that's the thing, I don't know why it would, I don't think it would put you in the same game, because, imagine 16 people taking on everyone else.
Yeah, that would be
you could basically work with everybody in all of your squads. If it puts you all into the same game. So I don't think it actually does that. I know in creative you can play up to 16, so that's the most use out of it. You know what I mean? That's where you get the most use out of it is in creative mode. Right. So I don't know exactly how that works once you jump into a game. But they also have these new, not new. I guess they've been bringing back the major big modes like 50. What?
I said you're putting us to sleep. Yeah.
Oh, my bad. I was gonna say they're bringing back 50v50. So if it's 50 versus 50, obviously you can put all 16 of your friends in that mode.
Right. So I'd be curious to see how that kind of works out. I guess. I don't even have 16 friends is the other thing.
Yeah.
And so if you don't have 16 friends, it's kind of hard to invite 16 people to chat with you.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so that's number 1. Number 2, I just thought this was interesting, and I wanted to mention because I talk about Greedfall, I feel like every week on this show for the last couple of weeks because I'm super excited about it. And this is also via Push Square. Now, every time we usually read an acquisition story, it's either Sony, Microsoft, or THQ buying up a studio.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
This time, Big Ben Interactive has acquired Greedfall developer Spiders for an undisclosed fee.
Ooh.
And so, the new owner says it will leverage the unit to, quote, increase its know-how in the development of video games in the AA strategic segment. And so, I thought that was interesting because there's a lot of independent teams getting snapped up by teams like Microsoft, THQ, and Sony even. And so I think it's really funny that Big Ben Interactive, as a publisher, has finally decided to do this themselves as well. And so I just wanted to mention that because the other thing I thought was really interesting about that, I'm a little shocked to be honest, is that most of the recent titles by Spiders have been published by Focus Home Interactive. And so I'm shocked that Focus Home didn't actually snatch them up.
Yeah.
And so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
The third thing I wanted to mention, good news for Cyberpunk 2077 fans, it won't have a pre-order bonus. Somebody asked the game's official Twitter account over on Reddit if there'd be any incentives, and the developer basically said, we don't do that. Every person that buys the game gets exactly the same in-game content, no matter if they buy it in pre-orders or release date or 2 years later.
Wow.
And so don't expect a gold hat or a gold jacket like Death Stranding or anything like that.
But I want it, Rob.
Yeah, I know. Actually, it must work, right? Because if they didn't have people pre-ordering to get those incentives, they wouldn't offer them.
Right.
So it must work.
Yeah, I would imagine.
And I mean, there are times in the past where and I'm talking about in the past, not
Yeah.
I can't think of recent, where I was like, wow, I really want. And it was typically with I think the Creed games, because Assassin's Creed did a really good job of always saying exclusive pre-order mission.
Yeah.
Like you got an extra like side mission that was not necessarily.
And it was usually PlayStation actually that got it.
Yeah, and so sometimes for something like that, I never cared for aesthetics.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I also remember, like, back in the day, like, you'd have to figure out which one had the best pre-order bonus.
Yeah.
Like, was it Target? Was it Best Buy? Was it, you know what I mean? Like, what? Why do I have to do that?
Yeah.
You know?
Agreed.
So I do like that they're doing that. And they're saying, nope, the game's going to be the game.
Yeah, that is really nice.
It's refreshing.
So, it is. And so, that was one other news story that I wanted to mention. And then the last one, just real quick, again, not because it's newsworthy, because it's fascinating. Media Molecule is looking to hire people to help make projects using the same tools we've all been using in early access in Dreams. And so the only qualification for you to be hired as a game developer on the professional development team at Media Molecule is that you have worked on or utilized the controls and the design kits available to you in Dreams. And so literally, if I had purchased Dreams Early Access...
So 3 people.
yeah. Well, if you search Made in Dreams on Twitter, which I know you don't have, but if people do that, you'd be amazed at some of the stuff that's made in that.
Yeah.
It's incredible looking. And so it looks like, if you did something really incredible, you have a chance that you could dive into game development there with Media Molecule, which is a very rare opportunity.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And that's just the reason I wanted to mention. I mean, you'll be making stuff for Dreams, content for Dreams.
Right.
But that's not a bad way to learn the ins and outs of coding and design and stuff like that.
No, not at all.
That's not a bad way to start. So that's just, in case you missed it, a few things just to tie up some ends there and give you a sense of what you may have missed this week. Other than that, there wasn't anything I thought was newsworthy that, is significant. So,
right.
All right. Shall we move into some of the conversational pieces we were looking to talk to today?
We shall.
Cool. All right. So the first thing, maybe you want to lead us into this a little bit, was you wanted to talk a little bit about free EA access games that were available on PS4.
Yeah. I just want to.
Did you want to talk about?
I just want to say to people that Rob let me pick the topic this week, and it shows my cheapness. That what I want to talk about is whether EA access is worth it, and all the summer games that are on sale this month. Really, they're on sale. I think for a whole month on the PlayStation Store. Yeah, I think it's at August 20th. So. That just shows you who I am as a person. I like a good bargain.
This is a good time right now too, because a lot of the bigger games that I'm interested in, and I say bigger with a grain of salt because a lot of them are AA games or smaller AAA games, don't come out till the end of August, and so you got a few weeks to either work on the backlog or find something on sale for yourself.
Yeah.
So this is a good time to check that all out.
Totes. Cool.
All right. So.
All right, yeah. So, first, I wanted to talk about the EA access. I was looking at all the games that they're offering. It looks like a pretty decent lineup, especially as a start. I mean, the game. Let's see, it's $5 a month or a very cheap $30 for a whole year. So, I feel like. You might as well get it for a year, unless you want to just try it for like 1 month. But it makes more sense to me to buy it for the whole year. The two main things I like about it. One is the games list. Let's see, there's a bunch of games. There's like 1, 2, 4. There's 4 different Battlefields. 1, 4, Hardline, and 5. There are 5 different FIFA games, 15 through 19. 6 different Madden games, 15 through 19, and NFL 25, like the 25th anniversary edition, I believe. Mass Effect Andromeda, Mirror's Edge Catalyst. If you like NBA, NBA Live's in there, 15 through 19. 3 Need for Speed games, regular Payback and Rivals. 5 NHL games, 15 through 19. Peggle 2. And now, let me say, people, if you don't know what Peggle 2 is, shame on you. Shame on you. Because it is an absolute blast of a game. And you may think I'm being facetious here, but I absolutely loved Peggle 1. It is such a fun game. It's basically like one of those... it's kind of like one of those breaker games / pinball games. I don't know. It's hard to describe, but it's amazing either way. So check it out for sure. And then, what else? Oh, gotta click back. A couple Plants vs. Zombie games. I think, arguably the 2 biggest games in here, if you're not into sports. Star Wars Battlefront and Battlefront 2. And then Titanfall 2, a couple UFC games, UFC 2, 1, 2, and 3, and then Unravel 2, 1, and 2. So, I mean, there's a huge list of games that you have access to right away. Also Dragon Age Inquisition, if you like Dragon Age games. I'm not a big fan personally. That's a huge...
That's kind of the one that sticks out a little bit to me in the sense that there's a lot of... What about did you mention the Mass Effect games, or are they in there? Yes,
just Andromeda. Right? Yeah, just Andromeda is the other.
Just the terrible one.
Yeah.
To be clear.
Yeah, to be clear. And also, the first game that they mentioned is A Way Out, which I really wanted to play, but I feel like I think it's a 2-player co-op. You have to have...
It is.
You have to have someone, so...
I own it.
Oh, you do own it. Okay, so I could play it with you then.
Yes.
Oh, sweet. It's one of your backlog games. So add that to your tally, folks. If you're listening to these podcasts and deciphering the code that's built in them with the backlog, add that to the list. So you can add a little number, so you can make a better guess. You know what I mean? Make a better guess for yourself. But yeah, I mean, I feel like there's a lot of good games. Another huge thing for me that I think is exciting is that you also get early access trials to upcoming EA games. So, like, I would imagine, like, when they put out betas of FIFA or betas of NHL or Madden or whatever, that you'll get access to those. Which I think is cool. I don't know.
Now, can I cancel this at any time?
You can.
Okay.
I mean, you're not going to get... I mean, obviously, you pay for the year. You're not going to get your money back, I believe. But,
well, yeah, of course.
But, I mean, you'll still have it for that whole year.
I'm thinking month to month.
Yeah, if you want to do month to month, I believe you can cancel at any time. I would imagine it's probably set up as a, like, automatic renewal.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'm pretty sure you can cancel anytime.
Okay. And so you think it's you're just thinking it's worth the money?
I think it is. Yeah,
on the average gamer.
Yeah, I think the average gamer would like it. Also, that's really kind of cool. So it says try new EA games days before launch with exclusive Play First trials. Also, which is cool, your save progress carries over to the full game if you decide to buy it.
Okay. And
the trials stay active long after release day, so you can find out what all the hype is about anytime. So there's a trial before the game, is released, and then if you decide to buy it, all of the progress that you've made in EA Access is saved to the actual game. So I don't know. I think that's a really cool feature. You think about like all these, things that put out betas or
or demos, right?
Or demos. And you're like, oh man, it'd be awesome if I love this game. It'd be just awesome. It would be even better if I could get all my save progress, and this is what that does. So
here's where I'm gonna suggest that because personally I would say that it's not worth the money to me, but that's because I probably fall on that side of I don't play a ton of sports games.
Sure.
And other than Dragon Age, which I'm sure most people own if you're really a fan of that, the only thing that would really appeal to me is Faye or A Way Out, but I also own that as well. here's where I would say that this is a benefit is somebody like me who loves NHL.
Yeah.
And gets tired of paying $60 for a new copy every year.
Right.
You're talking about paying, well, actually, how much did you say it was a month? $4.99, right?
$4.99 a month. Yeah.
Okay. And so you're still paying, or you can pay $30, you said, for a whole year. Annual subscription, right? $29.99.
Yeah, $29.99.
That's where that would benefit me because I really hate paying for the hockey games. And if I can just pay $30 to play hockey every year, count me in.
Yeah, dude. That's what I mean. I would imagine that, the games aren't going to be added necessarily right away, but, I mean, still.
Well, and that's the thing. You would hope, right? You would think that they would. Because I've noticed that a lot of them are typically added, recently anyway, they have a lot of games that immediately come to the service.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so NHL 20 will or should be part of EA Access, I would think. Yeah. So it launches on September 13th. You can pre-order the Ultimate or Deluxe Edition, play 3 days early, or you can do 3 days early with early access as well.
Cool.
It looks like. And so if you are a sports fan, FIFA, I imagine would be on there as well.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I said FIFA.
Yeah, well, FIFA 20 I'm thinking.
Oh, I should say. Yeah.
And so EA Access members get access to that 5 days early.
Yeah.
And so for me, for FIFA and NHL, right, or if you're a Madden fan and a UFC fan, if you can pick 2 sports games, I'd say it's worth $30 a year. Because that's $15 a year for 2 sports games.
Yeah.
Especially if you're, unfortunately they annualize them like that, but if you're okay with purchasing them in that regard. So yeah, I would. Other than that, though, I'm going to say I don't think it's worth it.
Yeah.
For the average person, because like Burnout Remastered that I've been itching to play goes on sale pretty much every 3 weeks on the PSN for like $5.
Yeah.
Now, you could pay that $5 a month, play Burnout, play A Way Out, and play like the Unravel games or something, and it would still be worth it.
Yeah, like Burnout Remastered. A lot of these games that are on sale for this summer are those EA games, and one is Burnout Remastered, and it's $5. So I mean, if you want to buy that game anyways, might as well try the service and then see if you have other games that you want to play, right?
Now, here's the scary part about this service that I would be concerned with.
Okay.
If I buy it digitally, as long as it's downloaded to my machine, I'm set to go. Right? Like if I own the physical copy, or if it's downloaded to my machine, they're not going to take it off my machine personally. With EA,
I don't think so. Oh yeah, you mean like, okay, sorry, if you buy the actual game, yes.
Yes, if I buy the actual game, but even if I buy it digitally, like, because I had a Transformers game, and that's been delisted from the store, but it's on my PS4.
Right.
Right, no one can take that from me unless I delete it, then I'll never be able to download it again.
Right.
My concern with this is, are you streaming the games or downloading them? I don't know if I have a clear answer on that.
Actually, I don't know if I have a clear answer either, but I believe it is streaming.
And so, what happens when they remove that?
Yeah.
I'm out that game.
You are, yeah.
Yeah. So that's a danger, too. But I mean, I guess that's a danger with anything digital, right?
Yeah.
Just something to consider, right? Certainly as we move into this age where this seems like subscription passes, because Square Enix is also doing the same thing, are going to become the norm.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's that's going to be the thing, I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you are at the risk of the publisher. Now, if you're the kind of person who doesn't care about that, go for it. I know a lot of people do care about that, having that physical copy. I personally, and this is where big EA access isn't a problem for most people, most of those games, like, I don't care if I own NHL 16 still.
Right.
I don't care if I own Peggle 2. I don't care if I own Battlefront or Battlefront 2, because I know there's more of those coming.
Right.
And so for sports fans, I think this is the sweetest deal you can get.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I'll never go back and play NHL 15 if I have NHL 19 available to me, or NHL 20.
Agreed.
Cool. Anything else you wanted to talk about or mention with that?
No, that's it for the EA Access. I think it's a decent thing right now. I don't know. I think I might buy into it. We'll see.
I'd like you. Yeah, if you do that, you'll have to report back to us. We'll make you report back.
Oh, of course.
After a month, of course. A month with it, and you can tell us how it is. All right, cool. Well, then let's jump into, speaking of deals, let's jump into the summer sale a little bit, because this is going on right now, and you should be aware of this if you're a PlayStation fan, and if you're not, make sure you are aware of it, because it's 4 weeks of deals, and like I mentioned, this is kind of a... Wolfenstein just came out, of course, but got less than rave reviews, so if you've got a backlog or a lack of a backlog and you want to add to it, this might be for you.
Yeah.
So, what do we want to talk about with this a little bit?
I mean, let's just start off with the fact that this list is absolutely massive.
It's like 8 or 9 pages on my phone last time I checked.
Dude, it took me like 10 minutes just to scroll through them last night. Like, I was on the store. I was just like, oh, let me just see what they got. It just kept going and kept going. And I was like, what is happening? There's so many games on this list. It's insane. I was like, what? I was like, there's legit a game for everyone.
Yeah, and so actually maybe we could hit some of the highlights.
Sure.
Of some of the ones that might stick out to us. And again, this is a perfect example, right? A Way Out is $17.99 on sale this for this month, I guess. You've got A Hat in Time at $14.99. You've got all of Assassin's Creed Odyssey editions are on sale, which is, if you've been holding out on that, that's enough content to last you 6 months.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's a big deal. Bloodborne is down to $14.99. Of course, it's part of that $20 deal, right? $20 greatest hits.
Yeah,
but it's down to $15, and you can get the complete edition for $25 now, which includes the Old Hunters DLC.
Yeah.
And so, again, these are all PS Plus member prices. Burnout Paradise is $4.99. You've got the Danganronpa series, which I'm a fan of, are all on sale. And so if you want to check those out, all the Dark Souls, Dark Souls 2, Skull of the First Sin is $10.
Yeah.
Can't beat that if you haven't played that. I think if I remember correctly, that's PS3 and PS4.
Yeah, a few.
Dark Souls 3.
A couple Call of Duty games in there.
Yeah.
If you're looking for shooters.
Even newer stuff, Devil May Cry, you probably can find it cheaper on Amazon, but it's $46. And so, not all the deals are worthwhile, right? You definitely can find that cheaper on Amazon, but, if you wanted to play Faye, for example, it's $4.99 instead of $20.
Yeah.
I was trying to see what else. I looked through that whole list, and so I was trying to think what else. You mentioned when we were off air before, Lego.
Yeah, there's so many Lego games. I'm like, I was saying to Rob off air that I could easily spend $100 on Lego games because there's like all the Lego games are on sale.
Yeah.
Oh, there's just so many. The Harry Potter one, Batman 3, Jurassic World, Avengers, Avengers Deluxe, Superheroes 1 and 2. It's crazy. Both Star Wars ones. The Incredibles. They're super cheap. Most of them are $10.
Yeah, so a lot of pretty good deals. Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah.
The remake, $12. Nice. Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which came out last year, which is on my backlog, but I haven't purchased it yet, is now $19.
Wow.
The deluxe edition is $23.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's a lot of...
Metro.
There's some good deals in there.
Metro Exodus, $36.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so whatever you're looking for, pretty worthwhile. And then, of course, there are PS3 games on sale still. And most importantly, there are PS Vita games on sale.
True.
Now, granted, there's about 12 of them from what I can eyeball up.
There's a VR. There's a couple VR on there, too.
And there's a couple VR as well. Actually, I'm kind of excited because Tetris Effect VR is down to its lowest price in a while, $24, which isn't terrible. if I remember correctly. And I was looking to see if it's on this list. I guess it is. Yeah, Tetris Effect, $24, which isn't bad. I mean, you can find it a lot of times new for $20 physically.
Yeah.
But if you're a digital person, there are some deals to be sought out there. Yeah. Tacoma, excellent game, $6. And I'm pretty sure, that had a physical release, but I think it was through limited run, if I remember correctly. So that's like a no-brainer if you don't have anything else to play.
Yeah.
Now, this is 4 weeks. Are they going to add to it?
I honestly don't know. It's such a huge list. I don't know is it going to change? What? Like, what?
Because I don't think they'll change any, because it says states that it ends August 20th, and so these are the ones on sale. I do wonder, sometimes I have noticed this, and this is maybe what I want to draw people's attentions to. I have noticed in the past sometimes that they have added a couple of games per week.
Yeah.
And so, Vampire might not be on there this week. I'll have to check and see, but just theoretically, if it's not, be careful, because this is when I add stuff to my wish list, and then you can just check real quick. Because it may very well be the next week. They occasionally will sneak 1 or 2 additional titles in there.
Yeah.
I don't know if they were pending clearance from people or how that works, but they will sneak them in.
Yeah. The one that stuck out to me is We Happy Few for half off.
Yeah, and that's on my backlog.
Yeah.
That's a great game. It's just got lost in the shuffle.
Yeah. Bunch of Tom Clancy games. Man, yeah, there's just so much stuff on there. But again, yeah, like Rob said, keep checking back, because I'm sure the list will only grow.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Anything else you want to kind of touch on with that, or hit on with that?
No, I think that's it.
Okay. So, we've got a little bit of time left.
We do.
What I thought we could do, or maybe touch on, or talk about, or deal with here is since we do have a little bit of extra time. Matt, I went through on my own, and you and I have gone back and forth about this, and it's probably more fitting, I think, that I'm doing this, because I tend to be more ground to the ear with the smaller games than you.
Right.
But I did want to just highlight for people out there 5 games that you should probably pay more attention to this year that are not major releases that are coming out soon. And I know that you and I have been big advocates for Remedy's Control, which comes out August 20th, and talked about that multiple times. But I decided not to include that on the list this week, because when we were originally doing this topic, I kind of thought maybe I would assign that one to you. But I decided to hold off on that. So, I'm going to go ahead and talk about these 5 games.
Okay.
And my goal will be, you tell me if I sell you on them. So the first one is up, actually is the demo that I just downloaded from the store, called Onanaki. Who's it for? People who love Diablo. Now, I've never really been into Diablo, but it's a Japanese, almost like Diablo type fantasy game. Has an action RPG feel, so it's not turn-based or anything like that. It's very action, isometric. Loot system, and you fight and collect demons, or demons as some people might call them. Right, there's a slight difference there. And so, it looks really cool, it looks original, it looks a little bit different. Different classes, different systems. But it's a fantasy world, and it's, I can't remember the exact write-up about it. It ends... I should have written down the actual physical write-up. That's what I know of it.
Okay.
But it's a watcher on a journey to protect life after death, is basically the way they advertise it as hack and slash battles. So that's the first one, and that's out August 22nd. The second one, I think, is probably one that should sell you. It's called Remnant from the Ashes, and it is basically for people who love the Souls games, combined with randomly generated dungeon crawlers. But most importantly, it's for those who wish Dark Souls had guns.
Interesting.
It's Dark Souls with guns in a heavy way. It's got bizarre creatures. It's got dungeons you go through. Every time you die or play through, I should say every time you play through it, it's randomly generated and the levels are redesigned and everything like that, so that you kind of have a slightly different experience every time.
Yeah. Okay.
And you get to carry guns.
Nice.
That's my second one. My third and fourth one, I only did put 4 on here. So 5 I'll count Control, but we've talked about that plenty of time. I talk about every week Greedfall, right? It's a AA game.
Yeah.
If you like games like Vampire or Remember Me, or if you wish Assassin's Creed 3 and Black Flag had a baby that included creatures of Dark Souls and Diablo, that's Greedfall.
Interesting.
Go watch the trailer for it, and it's literally like, I think set in
I mean, that's why I'm laughing.
17. Huh?
I mean, that's why I'm laughing. It's a pretty good description.
Yeah, it's set in the 17th century. They're dressed like colonial sailors or pirates, and you're landing on islands with giant monsters. It's like The Witcher meets Assassin's Creed.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that one. And then last but not least, I don't think you took place in this, but the Code Vein network test was a couple months ago. Code Vein's the other one, September 27th.
Nice. I did not take place in that.
And that is basically kind of an anime Dark Souls. It's got a very cartoony art style. It's a very...
So what you're saying is right up your alley.
Yeah. It's actually... you play as vampires, which is kind of cool as well. And you're vampires that look anime-like, but it plays very much like a Dark Souls game. There's parrying, there's weapons that require stamina and stats and upgrading skill trees and all of that stuff. So yeah.
Cool.
That's, I just wanted to mention those real quick because those are 5 games, and again, Control's the 5th one, that you're excited for. Did you pre-order that?
Control?
Mm-hmm.
I have not yet, but I'm going to.
You're going to?
Yep.
Yeah, and Control's the other one, and I know that you and I have been looking forward to that one for a long time.
Yeah.
But that is definitely not getting the attention it deserves.
No, I don't think so. But, yeah, I'm super excited.
Yeah, and so you and I are probably going to preach out of this world for the next month when it comes out.
Yeah.
So I know we're pretty excited about that.
Oh, absolutely.
And so, yeah, that's going to be fun.
So creepy and good. I don't know.
It's and if I had to describe that one, right, that is sci-fi, telekinesis. It looks like...
I would say BioShock meets Star Wars Force Unleashed.
Oh, ooh, that's a good description, yeah.
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 Like the creepy kind of like unknown of BioShock and like, like kind of figuring things out as they happen, in BioShock. Figuring out what went wrong in this world with like the crazy awesomeness of like the force powers of Unleashed.
Yeah. That's a good description.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Sweet.
Alright, well, the only other thing I want to mention to just wrap things up is I do highly recommend people start checking out Amazon. I've noticed a lot lately what they've been doing for their pre-orders, and I, again, don't necessarily preach pre-orders or encourage pre-orders because I think that's an easy way to get burnt with certain games, and it's an easy excuse for them to kind of slack off about getting those games completed in the way that we want them to be. But I have noticed a lot Amazon's been doing this $49.95 or $48.95 deal with a lot of games for the first couple weeks after they're announced.
Yep.
Or like Wolfenstein Youngblood right now, the deluxe edition is $32 on Amazon.
Wow.
Instead of 40.
Yeah.
So you could pay 30 for it, or you could pay 32 and get the buddy pass.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you plan on playing it with a buddy, I'd say that extra $3 is worth it instead of the extra 10.
Yeah, of course.
So.
Yeah, I'm looking at, Avengers, I know people aren't super stoked about it, but like Avengers, Cyberpunk, and Jedi Fallen Order are all $50. Like in
Yes.
that like $49.95 or $50.95 range.
And I already have 2 of those 3 pre-ordered.
Oh, snap. I'm assuming the one you haven't is Avengers.
Correct.
Do I know you or what?
Because we just talked about that last week, and I'm a little concerned for that one.
Yep, we did. Because it has an Avengers problem.
Yep, it does. All right, that's going to wrap it up for us this week, unless you've got anything else you want to say.
Blah, blah, blah. That's all I needed.
I agree with that. That's very insightful, and I also feel triggered by that.
Oh, you're welcome.
Mm-hmm. I can't believe you said that about me. All right, well, again, if you liked what you heard and you want to keep the mics on and enjoy it, go over to Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star rating, leave some nice comments, and I'll read them out on air. You can also find us on Google Play, Stitcher, Patreon, where you can throw $1 our way if you really, really like us, Podbean, and YouTube. If you want, go over to YouTube. I'm really pushing for people just to subscribe over there. It will really help us as well. So even if you don't really care for podcasts on YouTube, just go over and hit subscribe real quick. It takes 2 seconds, and it'll make me feel good about myself. Matt, thanks for coming today.
Oh, thanks for having me, Rob.
You're welcome. Guys, thanks for stopping by, and until next time, game on.
Game on. This is the outro music. Dark and creepy. Look for Control in August. I don't know why I turned it into an ad.
That was, yeah, I know. We should be getting paid for that.
I know, right? Maybe they'll send us a free game.